Hey, I have curly hair now. What's up? It's a culture detective here investigating your favorite movies, and today I'm going to be doing a movie review on a film that probably no one who is subscribed to this channel had watched, but something that I would still love to talk about because once in a while, I feel like the market is so saturated with mainstream commercial films, and I just really want to watch a recent film that is very slow and challenging and artsy, which brings me to this film that I finished last night, April, or in Georgian, Აპρილი. This is a Georgian film written and directed by Dea Kulumbegashvili, and it premiered in Venice Film Festival last year. It got a theatrical release in the US, and soon, I believe, it got onto streaming. So, April is a Georgian film, and no, I'm not talking about the state of Georgia in the U.S. I'm talking about Georgia, Sakartvelo, which is a country in the Caucasus Mountains, aside from Armenia and Azerbaijan, south of Russia. I've never seen a single film from this region before. This is my first, and I'm really happy about that. Anyways, this is a film about Nina, who is an OBGYN, which I don't really know what it means. I think it means um, a person who delivers babies in the hospital, and just a kind of similar to a gynecologist nurse person, I guess. And this is a story about a week in her life as that nurse, delivering babies and failing, and then learning to overcome that, and then facing the various women she knows who are being oppressed by the men in the system, which leads to her secretly helping women get abortions in the village. And of course, she has to do this in secret because otherwise her life would be in danger. But then again, there are all these figures who are sort of oppressing women because they are always in power and they always use women's bodies. So this is a very contemplative film about women suffering, and it is really hard to watch at times. Now, first of all, the cinematography is amazing. When I'm watching this, I feel like there are traces of Terrence Malick, sans the steady cam. There are actually a lot of still shots in this film, but they're never really still. They're never on sticks. They are always breathing. There's a lot of shaking in these shots. A lot of shoulder rig, I guess you would say. And I think what this film does really well is that it does a great job at showing women's oppression and suffering. There's one scene, it's a really simple scene where Nina is just talking to this young 16-year-old girl, and this girl wanted an abortion. And Nina told her, okay, like next time, just like take pills. And it's honestly a really depressing circumstance here where a lot of young women have to take pills to alter their own body just because another man wants to use their body for pleasure. And again, just one of the many instances of women suffering and being under the oppression of men in the film. This film is an extreme slow burn, at times excruciating. There are a lot of shots here that are 5 to 6 minutes long. It's slower than I'd expected, in fact. And some scenes here reminds me of the Bellatar film I've seen, Damnation, but just Bellatar in general. A lot of scenes here feel like they're crushingly slow, and not in an Asian way, if that makes sense. I feel like the thing is, I feel like I love slow cinema, but most of the slow cinema I actually love is actually from Asia. And I struggle way more with European slow cinema. And I feel like this film is in the echelons of European slow cinema. There are a lot of long takes, unflinching scenes of childbirth and abortion, extremely graphic. I don't even Like, it looks like they didn't even use any special effects. I feel like they actually filmed a childbirth. I feel like they actually filmed a C-section at the end of the film. It was so graphic. I was like, damn, maybe I shouldn't be seeing this. And then, of course, you have the ambiguous, scary imagery, the skin monster in the beginning and at the end of the film. A lot of characteristics of a festival-pleasing European art house slow burn film. Reminds me a lot of Sound of Falling as well, with the aspect ratio, with the confusion, with the long takes, with the ambiguity as well. The problem, though, I have with this film, and I feel like, again, I feel like I'm not in the place to enjoy this film. I feel like me being an Asian guy is not going to 100% vibe with a film that is about women suffering in the Caucasian mountains, of course. But I feel like there are so many parts of the film where it just didn't really vibe with me, unfortunately. There are so many beautiful shots of nature, which I love, and they kind of punctuate between other slow dialogue scenes or slower graphic scenes. But these nature shots, I feel like they don't serve any purpose whatsoever, and they have me trying to guess whether the nature here functions in an allegorical way, or is it supposed to juxtapose the pain that the characters feel. There is like a rain scene at the end where it's raining and storming, and Nina goes into a house, and there's a guy who treats her really well. And when I was watching it, I was just thinking, how does this scene function in the overall film? I just don't really get it. Maybe I'm stupid or something. But I've seen tons of very slow and ambiguous East Asian films that, even if the scene doesn't feel purposeful, at least it functions in some kind of way, tonally or in terms of the film's meaning. But I think maybe retroactively, now that I'm thinking about that rain scene, it does give the argument, I guess, men can be good too, something like that. But yeah, it is a very provocative film. It's very disturbing at times, very patience testing at times. And even though I didn't vibe with all of this film completely, I still feel that there's a lot of power in what the film is trying to say, and I feel like I may like it more on a rewatch. So for now, I'm just going to give this a strong 7 out of 10. So if you watch April, comments below, let me know, subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. Also, this film is produced by Luca Guadagnino, so that's a fun fact.